Much live now. Welcome to the class. It's a 30 days 3D modeling and animation class. And like you have seen on the list, you're going to see that we have 70 video sections. We have PowerPoint presentation. We have 14 detailed A to Z practical guide. We have knowledge checks and the free materials. Okay. So I'm just going to do a very quick explanation of that outline. The 70 video sections are not going to be the evening class, or it could be other times during the day depending on our votes, which will come up later. So the 70 video sections are different sections which are going to be sent to the group. What you are expected to do is you are expected to watch those videos and practice what is explained there, ask your question on the group, get clarity on it, and also ensure that you do the tasks that you are assigned to do, as a follow-up. So in this class, and also let me talk about the 14 detailed A to Z practical guide. So when I say detailed A to Z practical guide means we're going to take a project. For example now, let's say a 3D product. I want to create a 3D modeling and animation for a product. Let's say, for example, Coca-Cola now. We want to design the Coca-Cola bottle and then do a ad, a 30 seconds ads for Coca-Cola bottle. You do the modeling yourself from the ground up. You are not importing something though. You're going to build every piece one by one. Then you do the graphics, everything together, the animation, the keyframes and all. So you're going to do that yourself. So the meeting in this evening like this is just a practical to guide you through and to show you some essentials about what you're supposed to do. And then you also have the avenue to ask questions and also get a live feedback on what you're expected to do. So I said the 70 video sections, they are going to be videos that will be sent to the group, and specifically you're going to have what to do after those video sections. Then I explain the 14 detailed A to Z practical guide. I'm going to have free materials and presentations and other stuff. So where I was proceeding to was there are things we're going to be looking at in this class. For example, we're going to be looking at modeling. Modeling is the basis for animation, okay? So if you don't have your model, there's nothing you want to animate, okay? And this time we are looking at 3D modeling, which when we start looking at the softwares we are using, I will show you one after the other. Then the next thing we have there is animation. Yes, animation just means that you're able to move something that is stationary from one point to another. So that is it. So we have simulations, we have physics, we have rigging, we have sculpting, we have editors. Each of them will be explained during the class. So the very first thing you do is how to get the softwares. So let me just quickly say this. This is the first day. I just meant to be an overview because we've not started in detail. But from tomorrow now, you start receiving the videos, and then you're expected to take it serious. And that's why this class is a paid class. In fact, I would have made this class a very free class, okay? But then I just decided to put that amount of money there so that people can get very serious. And like I said earlier, uh, outside these 5 days, no one will be allowed to join the class unless you have made your payments. Okay, just to ensure that everybody gets serious because 3D modeling and animation can be a bit challenging. Overwhelming. Let me put it that way. So you something like okay, you paid for this is going to push you through to ensure that you get all through it. And I promise you, this is going to be very interesting. In fact, starting from today. So the first software we are using is SketchUp. Just go to your browser and type in SketchUp. I'm not going to help Google by clicking on the SEM here. You want to click on SketchUp. So once you click on SketchUp, you go to the page. This is SketchUp. So what's SketchUp used for? SketchUp is used for architectural buildings, okay? So that does not mean you have become an architect, or maybe you say, I don't know how to do I don't have any familiarity with architectural works or something like that. You don't need to worry about that at all, okay? So all you need to know is you have to have the knowledge of inches, centimeters, length, breadth, the x-axis, the y-axis, the z-axis, These are the things that I just need to know. I need to know, okay, this I can rotate my screen, which practically most of us we do it every day. Okay, so you can click on start your free trials because SketchUp is a paid software. It's not free and it's not open source. So that means you're going to pay for it. But then you do not have to pay for it. Okay. Once you can just do, which I'm still going to show you, is you're always going to have 7 days free trial. It was 30 days before, but then I think the economy is changing. So what you need to do is just change your emails per time, and that may affect your flow of work too. Okay, I can show you some other ways in which you can get a cracked version, but then that means you can't go online. And because I'm going to be online throughout, so I cannot actually use that cracked version. I'll just send that to the group later. Just click on start free trial, and then you're going to see this ready to try. You see for free 7 days trial, start free trial. So we have for personal projects, higher education, primary and secondary. I'm just going to click on start free trial. Basically, what I just want to get is I want to get the SketchUp Pro. That's just it. Okay, this is loading. Now, if you notice here, you see that it's showing tremble. Okay, so another thing is if some people will be like, okay, my laptop cannot take the SketchUp, it cannot install the SketchUp. You also have the access to use the SketchUp online. So if I open a new tab now and say SketchUp online, so the online version is free. I mean, it's completely free forever. Okay, so but the only thing is that it has very limited capability. So I'm just going to click on start modeling. Okay, so it has limited capability like the free trial. Okay, just like the free trial too, it has very limited capability. Like you cannot export your modeling. Okay, you can't export your modeling. You can't you can't send out your work. I mean, if you want to show the work to someone else, maybe you're working for a client, you will have to do a screenshot to send to the person. I mean, there's no way you can send out the work. So this I usually fall back to most of the time, just that it requires you using your data, and then you may want to import some work, so that may take up a lot of your data. So that's just the cons of using the online version, and then it has limited capacity, like I said earlier. So that's limited capacity. So if you click here, you can just install it as an app on your. So let's just wait while it's loading up. So let's continue with what I was explaining. So here now I say you can sign in and access your stuff. And because I've already signed in, so it's just going to take me to the sign in page. But basically, what you want to do is okay, let me use another email. I won't want a situation where you be like, okay, I didn't get this right, I didn't get that right. And that's the reason some people have asked me, do I need to install the softwares ahead of time? I said, wait till we having it in this class. Okay. So I'm just going to click on everywhere X. Next. So I'm going to put this is for my last name is Fato. Then the email at gmail.com. So ensure you agree that and then click on agree and continue. So there's a verification code which I'm just going to quickly go to my Gmail and check. Okay, so I have the verification code here. I copy it, paste it here, and submit. So it's asking me for a password now. Okay, good. So I have my password here. Let me type it again. Fine. So click on submit, and it's asking me to create. I'll just keep all this for now. You can just go through it too, but I'll just keep all this for now. Nigeria, yes, yes, it's correct. Next, I'll just click on do that later. But those things are actually what you should do just to because so that you can keep your account safe. So we are going to the next. Say welcome. Before you try SketchUp for free for 7 days, let's get to know each other. Okay. Just shows that you're an architect. You can choose anyone here. Okay. So I'm just going to choose building construction. Specialization in residential building. Well, I've done all this before. And ensure that you join the class earlier so that you won't be interfering with our network while we are in the class. We have very limited time. Okay, so just scroll down and then click on continue. So here you see your details, your company. I'm just going to put HV graphics. So select size. Just I'm the only one. Administrator, country, Nigeria. Phone number. This my phone number. 34728527. Things all these things are just basics which you can really easily get to do on your own. So, but we are doing together so that we don't have anybody having question about this and bringing us back to this again. So you can see here now we are on the page, download page. You can download SketchUp for Windows or download SketchUp for Mac. So if you are using the MacBook, just click on this. If you are using a Windows, click on this. I'm using a Windows, I'll click on this. But because I already have SketchUp already, so I'll just go back and good. So you can see the interface is opened now. It's opened and it's showing some stuff are done. So if you click on create new, you can see the outline here. Let me pick this, bring it down a bit, and then I can scroll around. So it's a bit different from the when the one you install on your PC. Okay, it's really almost the same thing and can do almost the same thing unless you are looking for some advanced features. So this is the online version and it's completely free, forever free. I'm just going to close that. So let's go to our apps. So I have the app here, SketchUp, and I'll just click on run as administrator. So here you see, do you want this SketchUp installer? Do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Click on yes. So the app is installing now. So why this app is installing? Because it can take a bit of a while, depending on the capacity of your laptop. So the next software we are using is Blender. So let me quickly explain that to us too. Just go to your Google and then search for Blender. So you see here blender.org. Unlike SketchUp, Blender is completely free open source software. So what does that mean? Free means that you are not going to pay for this software forever. Now, open source means that you can, if you're a developer, you can add your code to the basic code of Blender to make changes in your own way. So that's just it. That's open source, and that's quite it. Fine. So if you scroll down here, you see a lot of stuff, Blender. So that's not where we are going to. I'm just going to quickly go down. And then if you come here, you're going to see download latest Blender. Just click on this latest Blender. And the latest Blender now is Blender 4.23 LTS. So LTS just means long-term support, and it's for Windows is 328 MB. So the long-term support. So just go ahead, click on it, and then it will download. So if you need other versions, just click here, and then you're going to see the other versions here. Click on it and download the app. Another way is, and that's the one I'm using now, you can go to the Microsoft Store. So I'll just go to the Microsoft Store. And the reason I do that is because I can easily get to a notification when there's a new update on the app and I can update to the latest software they are using. So I will search for Blender. Okay, there's a little of bit issue with network, but I think the one of Microsoft Store is very direct. I mean, is straightforward. You don't have to worry yourself about the process of installing. Just click on install, and then it will automatically installed on your system. Okay, so while we are waiting for the SketchUp to be ready, I'm just going to go ahead and open Blender. So Blender. Another thing is, if you discover that your app is not able to run on the latest version of this software, you can downgrade to lower version. So that's your PC can run on. Very good. So we're on the Blender interface. Once you load your app, this is our Blender interface. You're going to see, welcome, Mr. Christian. You're a bit late. So where you're going to get the link for these 5 days is the 5 days free access. That's where everybody has been added to. So let's continue. We're going to be using Blender a lot. I mean, for a lot of 3D modeling and animations. Okay. The SketchUp is basically architectural buildings. Blender also too can do architectural buildings, but then it's requires you go into more details. Whereas you can easily do that with SketchUp. Okay. So Mr. Follow, please go ahead. Okay, what was that during the process of installing the Blender? Okay, so there was an encounter of change, repair, or remove. Okay, so it usually happens because maybe one time or the other you've installed Blender before, a version before, or I think that's why it happens most likely. So just click on repair and then move forward. Okay, so we are on the Blender. Stop on the Blender now. Just click out here and then that is gone. You can come back here and then click on the splash screen again. You see that again. So Blender has evolved, and that's really, I mean, interesting for me. Really, really. I mean, Blender has evolved a lot. I mean, you can use Blender now for industry standard 3D modeling and animations. Yes, and I can really vouch for that. Okay, we are done with SketchUp. So it's asking me for some other detail. I'm just going to click on them. Okay, just show that I install everything. Click on install, and the installation is in progress. So the Blender tool is also going to take a bit of time, just like the we've seen the SketchUp. It's just that I'm not going through the process of installing the Blender over and over again. Like I said, you can go to the Microsoft Store and then get that done easily. The issue is you were late for the class. That's why. So I've explained that. I explained earlier. Let me explain that again. This class actually is not going to be the major training platform. It's just a major interaction platform. So and I explained that before. Just when you have the video released, just go ahead and then watch it again. Okay. So this meeting is just a major live interaction platform, and it's going to be every day. Okay. But it could be different hours of the day. It could be in the morning, it could be in the afternoon, it could be evening. Let me just copy the link and then paste it on the group. Okay, please confirm that you have received the link. Very good. So you go ahead and download it. So and that's why I want everybody to be in this class and very early too. Once just check your group along the day. We're going to have polls, like people are going to vote for the time that will be convenient for them during the days. So and that's how we're going to run the meeting. And then we're going to have the videos for the training sections, A to Z practicals, practical guides. We're going to have them available, also sent to the group. So like I said, the Blender also is going to take time, just like the SketchUp is also taking time. Okay, so I think let me just show you the interface quickly. So the very first thing you see here on Blender is the square. Just continue installing your apps. Okay, why just so the square, and it's the default tip we have. So if you right click, you can see some other options here, what you can have. So the next thing you see by the side is the light. There's a light on the scene because it's a scene itself. So this is a scene. So you have the light and then you have the camera here. So you have the camera here. So the camera is what you use to capture whatsoever is on the scene. So your scene is all this place where you're having your something that look like cells. So that's it. And here you're going to see the dimensions here, the x, y, and z. And they are labeled the x. You can see the x like this. You can see the y line. You can see the z. Okay. So the x now is the horizontal, the z the vertical. Okay. And then the y is crossing between, just like you have your geometry x, y, z. Okay. So if you come to the this side, the left side of the screen, you're going to see the select box, and that's why I'm able to select any other thing I click on. While this is on, you're going to see I can select several things. So if you can drag out like this, just drag out like this. I mean, put your mouse cursor like this, click, you are going to, and then drag it out. Okay. Then the next thing is your cursor. Now you can if you notice, and this is very important. Let me zoom. I've not explained that. This is your zoom here. There are keyboard shortcuts, but because you are just getting started, I don't want you to be overwhelmed with keyboard shortcuts. Let me delete this key. Okay. So you can see now that this is my cursor and it's at the middle. It's centered at the middle. So that means any other thing I'm adding, they are going to be added to that middle. Anything I'm adding, they will be added to that middle. Anything, whatsoever thing that I'm adding, they are going to be added to that middle. That's what it means. So anywhere the cursor is, that's where anything I'm adding, they are going to be added. Then the next thing here is the move. Okay, let me. So the move. If you click on the move here, you can see you can move these objects. These are objects. Let me drag around so that you can see. This is a square now. Now you can move it along the three axes that we have. For example, now the x horizontal axis, now you can move it around. So I'm moving it now. I'm dragging it around. Then you can move it up and down, up and down. Then you can move it along the y axis too. Move it along the y axis. Okay. So one thing you see is that if I'm moving like this, looking like the object is going far away from me, and if I'm coming to the center, it's looking like it's a normal object and going far away. Okay. The reason is because we have different perspective. So now you see you can move your object around. Then the next thing is rotate. So this object you can rotate it along each of the three axes. So I can, for example, now if I drag it now, I'm rotating along all the axes now. Let me pick the y axis. You can see I'm picking the y axis now. I'm rotating. If you look at the top left side of the screen, you can see the angle is changing. You can see minus 14, 53 degrees, 170 degrees. So that's it. I can also pick it along any of the axes. I can pick it along the straight axis now. So we are picking along the straight axis. So that's for that. Then here now you can see the scale. So if I pick the scale, I can scale along any of the axes. I can also scale generally too. Then I can scale. If I pick, this is how you work with it. If I want to scale everything, I just bring my cursor to here and then scale it up. You see everything is changing. Let me rotate around so that you see. Okay. So if I want to scale it down to, I'll just bring in my cursor and then that will be it. Let's put this well. Okay, and you can scale along any of the axes. You can scale along any of the axes too. So you can scale along any of the axes. So you can see the transformation there. Okay, we are finished with SketchUp. Let's just launch it. So if we see it here now, we have Blender. Different versions are there. Okay, so this is the 4.2 something. This is the latest one. We have 3.3, 3.6. We have 2.8 there. Okay, so we have, so this 2.8 is around 2020. So it's a long time and it's something you can still install and it will work. So we just install any of them. You can start with this. If you click on this now, I'm not going to go ahead to install. So these are stuff you can use Blender to do. Okay. Don't worry, we'll get there in a moment. So you can come here to system requirement and click on show more. So if you click on the, okay, so this one now, you'll be able to find it on your Microsoft Store. You say available on PC, Windows 10 version or higher. So that means you need to have, if you're using Windows 8, it's not going to work. Architecture is 64 bits. So that means if you're using 32 bits, it's not going to work. So keyboard, I don't think that's necessary. You can use external keyboard. So mouse, that one is not necessary. You can use external mouse. Then the memory, the minimum is 2 gig RAM. So I think this is pretty much 2 gig RAM is something that is very good. So just ensure you have 64 bits, Windows 10. Those are the major things there, and then you'll be able to use this latest version of Blender. That's just install from here, and you're good to go. It's still the same thing. It's going to give you exactly the same thing. It does not require internet for you to use. Okay, so we have the SketchUp up now. But what I'm just going to do is, before I dive into this, I'm just going to go ahead and send a new link on the group. Then we all join, and then we get started with the SketchUp tonight. So you can exit this meeting now. You get a new link now on the group, and then you can join.